Freedom 250 might be the most important MMA card of the summer, and by Sunday night we could be talking about title contenders, career-changing upsets, and one fighter completely rewriting his future. This isn't just another fight card. Freedom 250 is loaded with veterans trying to stay relevant, prospects trying to break through, and established names fighting to prove they still belong at the top. By the end of this event, several divisions could look very different. And if you're watching Sunday night, here's everything you need to know before the cage door closes. Let's start with the biggest storyline on the card. The main event carries massive implications because every fight at the top of a division matters right now. The MMA landscape is changing fast. Champions are moving weight classes, contenders are aging, and new names are arriving every month. That means a standout performance at Freedom 250 doesn't just earn a win. It can completely change a fighter's career trajectory. And that's exactly why the pressure Sunday night is enormous. But here's the question nobody can answer until fight night. Who handles that pressure better? One mistake can erase months of momentum. The next thing to watch is the clash of styles throughout this card. Several matchups feature classic striker versus grappler dynamics. Others pit technical veterans against younger athletes with speed and explosiveness on their side. History tells us style matchups often matter more than rankings. We've seen elite strikers neutralized by relentless wrestling. We've seen dominant grapplers stunned by one clean shot. And we've seen prospects enter the cage undefeated, only to discover that experience matters when things get ugly. Sunday night we'll find out which styles hold up under the brightest lights. Because once the first punch lands, every prediction becomes worthless. Now let's talk about the fighters carrying the most momentum. Momentum in MMA is real. A fighter riding a 3 or 4 fight win streak enters the cage differently. The confidence is higher. The timing is sharper. The decision-making becomes instinctive. Meanwhile, fighters coming off losses often fight differently. Sometimes they become more aggressive. Sometimes they become cautious. Sometimes they completely reinvent themselves. That's what makes Freedom 250 fascinating. Several athletes enter this card with something to prove. Some are trying to protect winning streaks. Others are trying to prove their best days aren't behind them. And when desperation meets confidence, chaos usually follows. But one matchup could steal the entire show. Every card has that fight. The one casual fans overlook. The one buried lower on the lineup. The one that suddenly becomes the fight everyone talks about afterward. Freedom 250 has several candidates. Maybe it's a veteran refusing to fade away. Maybe it's a young prospect announcing his arrival. Maybe it's two action fighters who simply refuse to take a backward step. Those are often the fights that create future stars. Nobody expects them beforehand. Everybody remembers them afterward. And if history tells us anything, at least one fighter Sunday night will dramatically exceed expectations. So who could shock the world? Keep an eye on the underdogs. MMA remains the most unpredictable major sport on the planet. One punch changes everything. One submission changes everything. One mistake changes everything. We've seen massive betting favorites lose countless times. We've seen unknown fighters derail championship plans. And we've seen careers transformed in less than 5 minutes. That's why Freedom 250 matters. Not because of what we know, because of what we don't know. The unexpected is always waiting. And Sunday night, somebody will seize an opportunity. The final thing fans need to watch is what happens after the fights. Post-fight interviews matter. Call-outs matter. Performance bonuses matter. A spectacular finish can generate more attention than a decision win over a higher-ranked opponent. The UFC rewards excitement. Fans reward excitement. Matchmakers reward excitement. So don't just watch who wins, watch how they win. Because that's often what determines what happens next. And here's the biggest takeaway heading into Freedom 250. The fighters with the most to gain aren't necessarily the biggest names. They're the athletes one breakout performance away from changing their lives forever. Those are the dangerous fighters. Those are the hungry fighters. Those are the fighters capable of shocking everyone. So let's go back to the question from the beginning. Could Freedom 250 completely reshape multiple careers in one night? Absolutely. In fact, that's exactly what I expect. Every major MMA star was once one performance away from becoming a household name. Sunday night, somebody gets that opportunity, and by the time the final fight ends, we may be talking about the birth of the sport's next major contender. What's your boldest prediction for Freedom 250, and which fighter do you think leaves Sunday night with the most momentum?